Hey, welcome back. So we are now moving into module 5. And in module 5, we're really going to start talking about systems and getting into routines. I don't know about you, but I am a super predictable routine type person. I try to get up at the same time every day, except on weekends. But even on weekends, I have the same time each weekend. I try to go to bed the same time. I generally eat the same things for lunch. I eat the same things for breakfast. I'm a pretty predictable person. So, systems and routines was something that is a comfort for me. And it took me a while to figure out what I wanted my system to be as a real estate agent. But being a longtime educator, I lived in systems. I lived by a bell. I lived by a lesson plan. I lived by unit plans. I lived by a specific calendar. So I became very accustomed to living in systems. But real estate systems are different. And you don't have somebody telling you when to do things, you have to program yourself to do it. So that can be a challenge. So let me tell you a little story. When I was teaching, I took a sabbatical and it was wonderful, but I had never not worked in a very structured setting like a school. So when I took the sabbatical, I was super excited to not have to get up at 4 a.m. because I get up and run before school or go to the gym. I was super excited to not have to basically wait for a bell until I could go to the bathroom or not have to stay till 2:50 just because that's what the clock says, even though I had accomplished what I needed to accomplish that day, or to be able to go out to lunch if I wanted to go out to lunch. So many things that are like normal private world people things that they do at work. As a teacher, you don't really have those options. So I was very excited for all of that. And then I found out that, like, in the first month, um, not having a very, very set routine was not good for me. I was really shocked by how important a really specific routine was necessary for me to stay on task. I'm not a great work from home person. I had to really create an office for myself and kind of put myself in that office, or else I'd just wander around and find other things to do. So, that was something I learned on my sabbatical when I left teaching for a year, and then I just did full-time real estate, which was fabulous, and it really kicked my career into gear with real estate. But when I went, I had to go back to teaching to fulfill the time that I used for sabbatical. So when I went back, I struggled because I had really set up my own routines outside of work. But what I found when I was on sabbatical was that I had to I had to get up the same time every day. I had to do the same routine I did in the morning when I was teaching, but I had to do it a little bit later because I could. And then I was in the office. Like, I had a desk in the office, and by 8:30, 9 a.m., I was there. I was ready to go, and I was on my task. I had my list of tasks. I, made sure I used my time wisely. And then if I was done for the day, I could leave and then move on and do other things, and whether it be showings or meet with a client or whatever. But I had very specific tasks. So in this particular module, you're going to be really figuring out a system. What is a system that works for you? Time blocking. You're going to always hear people talk to you about time blocking. Time blocking is important, but I learned that time blocking throughout the entire day doesn't work for me, but there's certain times of the day that I do have to block out. So that's something you're going to work through. Like, I really can time block my morning because I can control that. But as the day gets going, things start to develop that you can't always control. So the time blocking later in the day can be difficult. You also have to identify what are your negotiables and what are your non negotiables. Like, what are you always going to make sure you do that, nothing else can get in the way of until you've done it. And that can be personal and work related. So you want to think about that. There are some people I know, like from 5 to 6 p.m., that is their family dinner time. And they don't take phone calls, they don't respond to texts, and they don't do showings from 5 to 6 p.m. because they really want to honor that time. I know other people that are always going to do their lead gen in the morning because they are a full-time parent at home in the afternoons and evenings, and they don't have the time. So their lead gen is from 8 to 10 in the morning. They get the kids off to school and boom, they're doing whatever they need to do. So figure out that piece of it. You also want to figure out just your general routine. What are the things you want to do on a regular basis? It doesn't mean you do them every day, but maybe you do them a certain time each week. I tend to use my Mondays as my catch-all day. Monday's coming off a very busy real estate weekend. Sometimes you just got a lot of tie up, a lot of loose ends. So that I tend to leave Mondays a little more open in the afternoon, very structured in the morning to just get on the computer, get in the office, just do the things I need to do from the weekend, follow up on that. And then I leave the afternoon open because inevitably things are going to just kind of drag into that. I do a coffee every Tuesday. There's a coffee shop I love. So I do about 8:30 to about 11:30 in the same coffee shop every day. That's a great spot to be able to generate very organic conversations. People will start to see you there all the time. And it's just kind of a presence. You start to kind of become the regular, and it just is kind of an interesting way to kind of embed yourself in the community as kind of a passive member of the community, but also people recognize and they start to see you. So that's a Tuesday morning thing. And that's kind of a non-negotiable. So rarely do I have clients that want to see a house on a Tuesday morning. So nothing really gets in the middle of that. I don't schedule doctor's appointments at that time. I do keep Wednesdays open. I tend to keep Wednesdays pretty flexible. I'll do my typical morning routines, checking emails, following up on leads, or making sure that I'm checking in with clients that I'm under contract with or getting ready to do listings with. And then I leave my Wednesdays open. That tends to be when I try to schedule doctor's appointments, when I try to schedule any other appointments, or maybe go to lunch with a client. So that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. So you want to use this module to help you identify structure, consistency in your routine, and start to really think about some systems that we can, or elements that we can generate into a system, because that's going to come down the pike. These are things that top agents do. And these are things that they make part of their daily routine, because real estate is not just it's a great thing to do whenever I want to. Top agents, it's their job, it's their career, it's their 9 to 5, it is their weekend. Sometimes it's their 7 days a week if it needs to be. You need to figure out what you want your business to look like and then develop a system that's going to help encourage that and grow that. That's a very important part of the thinking and the mindset you want to get into. So go get it. Get your system in place, figure out your routines. Again, I'm available for one-on-ones. Just pop into the playbook and look at how you can schedule that. I'd love to hear and talk through anything that maybe you just need a little bit more time processing. So I'm here for you. Okay, guys, go slay it. Have a great day.